Hi, Mom. We're here. We bought you a gift. Oh, look who it is. Maya, it's always so lovely to see you. You must be exhausted.
Oh, no, I'm absolutely fine. Anthony is the one who did everything on this trip. I barely had to lift a finger.
That's right, Mom. I'm the one who did all the driving, and I'm the one who carried all the luggage, so why are you only worrying about Maya? Well, it's because she isn't like other moms' daughters-in-law. She is a doctor. So of course I'm going to be making a fuss over her at every opportunity. I'm just so grateful that you would marry someone as unworthy as my son here. Anthony, you had better be good to your wife, okay? I'll be watching you. You really are something, huh, Maya? You already have my mom wrapped around your finger.
Honestly, you have no idea how many times she's been asking, when is Maya coming over next? I can't wait to have a nice long chat with Maya. Hurry up and give her a hug already so you can put her out of her misery.
Haley, why would you say that to Maya? You'll end up scaring her off.
Honestly, Mom, anyone would think that Maya is your real daughter instead of me the way you fawn over her. You're making us all feel like we should have studied to be doctors.
Stop your nonsense and just help them with their bags. You must be hungry, right, Maya? Have you had anything to eat for lunch yet?
No, we haven't eaten yet. I'll help you to prepare something.
Oh, no, there's no need for that. You can just get some rest. I'm sure you're going to be very busy at work, so you should take the chance to put your feet up whenever you can. Haley and I are more than capable of sorting out lunch by ourselves.
Oh, no, I really wouldn't be comfortable with that. It will be much faster if I help as well. Honestly, Maya, don't worry, it's fine. Just take a seat and we'll have it ready in no time. As long as you're still working as a gynecologist in a fancy hospital, my mom will never stop sucking up to you.
Haley, I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Oh, come on. Surely you've noticed that my mom dotes on you and is always taking any chance she gets to indulge you. You should be thankful. Not every mother-in-law loves their daughter-in-law this much, you know. You should make the most of this.
Yeah, my mom really isn't like this towards anyone. She's never acted the way she acts towards you with me and my sister before. Will you two just stop it already? I'm just happy that we have someone with such an admirable profession in our family now. So you two better not do anything to annoy her, okay? I'm going to be watching you, and I'm not going to let you off the hook so easily.
Judy, please, you're embarrassing me.
There's no need to be embarrassed. You deserve to be treated like a cut above the rest because you are a cut above the rest. Anyway, go and sit down and don't worry about cooking the lunch, okay? You said you like steak, don't you? I made sure to buy some steak, especially when I heard that you were coming over.
Oh, thank you so much. Hello there?
Hi, Maya. It's me, Judy.
Hi, Judy. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. Are you working right now?
Yes, I am, but I have a few minutes to spare so that I can have a quick chat with you. Is everything okay?
Yeah, everything is fine. I just wanted to talk to you. You know, the way that family members check up on one another every now and again.
Well, I'm doing great. Thanks for calling.
That's good to hear.
Well, I suppose if you haven't got anything else to say, I had better get back to work.
Wait, no, don't hang up so soon. There are lots of things I'd like to talk to you about. A couple of things that I felt a little awkward bringing up to you in person.
Why would you feel awkward bringing things up with me?
Every mother-in-law who has a daughter-in-law who does well for themselves is constantly worrying about what they should and shouldn't say in front of her, you know. We worry about our daughters-in-law potentially getting ideas above their station if they're doing too well for themselves, and it makes it difficult for us to relax around them.
Ah, I see. Well, there's no need for you not to be able to be relaxed around me. You know you can let your guard down and say whatever you want to me, at any time.
But then I'm also worried that if I say something that you don't like, you might leave my son without a second thought. These days, young people are prepared to end marriages over pretty much anything, so us in-laws need to tread on eggshells around them. Lots of young women will file for divorce at the slightest suggestion that they've been treated unfairly and won't even try and talk it out with her husband and his family.
Well, times are changing and women have more rights now. They finally feel that they're able to assert their opinions and do as they please. But I'm not going to fly off the handle so easily, I can assure you. So please just say whatever it is you wanted to say to me. There's something in particular you wanted to ask me, and that's why you called me today. Am I right?
How did you know? Did I make it that obvious?
Well, I just had a feeling. Anyway, what is it?
Well, it's about the money you've been giving me every month.
I see.
The cost of living has gone up significantly in the 3 years since you married my son, but you still send me the same amount as you did in the beginning. Consequently, I'm struggling a little financially.
Ah, really?
It's not that I'm begging you for money or anything like that. It's just that I don't really think it's a great idea for me to ask my son directly, you know?
How much more do you want?
Oh, not that much. If you could increase the amount by around $400 or $500, that would be great.
You're asking for a $400 or $500 increase? What exactly have you been using it on that makes you feel like you need that much extra money?
Now it sounds like you're accusing me of frivolous spending, and that makes me very upset, I receive the least amount of money from my children out of all my friends, and that makes me really embarrassed in front of them, because my daughter-in-law is a well-to-do gynecologist and they think you should be giving me more.
You look bad in front of your friends because you get a little less money?
Yeah! I have the daughter-in-law with the highest paying job, and yet I get the least amount of money each month out of our whole friend group. Does that make sense to you? I'm never in a position to treat my friends to meals, and that's really humiliating for somebody who socializes a lot like me. They even asked me if you hate me, and whether I'm being shunned by you.
Ah, I suppose that would make sense.
Right? And that's why I'm asking you to see things from my perspective here. So please, won't you consider giving me a little more money? You know that my son's salary is nothing in comparison to yours, so I can't really go and ask him.
Well, I suppose having listened to what you just said, there's no harm in giving you a little more money each month. After all, I do have the means.
You'll really do that for me. Thank you so much, Maya. You really are the best daughter-in-law I could have ever asked for. You should come over for dinner sometime soon, and I'll make you steak, just the way you like it.
Thank you very much, Judy. If you'll excuse me, I need to go and tend to my next patient now.
Yes, of course, of course. You must be busy. Talk to you later. My youngest is late coming back from school today.
How were his exams, by the way? Did he do well?
Of course. My youngest has always been a prodigy. I suppose because he has such a big age gap with his older siblings, I was able to focus on him a little more and help him to hone his skills. He's always been good at studying, and his grades are always within the top 10 in the class.
Wow, he must have worked really hard if he's that good. I guess if he's done well in his exams, he will have his pick of colleges.
Of course! He might not be quite good enough to go to medical school like you did, but that's okay. It's not like becoming a doctor is his dream or anything anyway. He doesn't know exactly what he wants to do yet, but he does know that he really would like to aim for an Ivy League college.
That would be great. I know that you were really worried about him because of how much older you were when you had him. You said that you were worried that he wouldn't have the same opportunities as your older three.
Yes. The first three were lucky enough to grow up with their father, but we lost him not too long after my youngest was born, so the poor boy has no memories of his father at all. Consequently, I was also financially worse off than I was when he was alive. But despite all that, my youngest ended up being the smartest out of all 4 of my children.
It must have been really hard for you raising 4 children on your own. I think his circumstances are one of the reasons why your youngest matured as fast as he did.
Yes, I do think you're right. My son is so nice to me all the time, but I always worry whether I haven't been a good enough mother for him or not. Even with his exams, there's nothing I can really do to help him out.
What kind of worries do you have about him?
Well, he wants to go to a private college. Do you have any idea how expensive the tuition fees are? They're way more expensive than normal college.
I suppose they must be.
I'm really in a bit of a dilemma because of this whole tuition fee thing. I feel like with our current financial status, I'll only be able to send him to a public university out in the sticks somewhere. Even though he's a really smart kid, his academic hopes are dashed because he comes from a penniless family. The whole world is an incredibly unfair place. What a waste of talent this would be.
Yes, it really would.
If I wanted to send him to his university of choice, I would have needed to be sitting on a pile of savings. But unfortunately, I don't have any. Do I look like the kind of person with money coming out of my ears?
Do you not have any money of your own at all?
I don't have a single penny to my name. The only money I have is the stuff you have been sending me every month.
Then I suppose your only choice is to send him to a public college, even if that isn't his first choice.
Well, yes, I suppose so. I'm just worried that he won't get pushed to unlock his full potential somewhere like that. He'll probably aim for a scholarship anyway, but even then there's no guarantee that he'll get it or that it would cover the cost of his entire course.
I see that this has been on your mind a lot. But wasn't the money left by your late husband enough to finance Anthony, Haley, and Sarah through college? Is there not any of that money left?
Well, there was enough for the three of them because we never planned on having a fourth child. He was a happy accident. However, because we hadn't planned to have him, we also hadn't planned to set aside the money for his education.
Ah, I see. Well, I suppose that's fair.
By the way, you have quite a bit of money, don't you, Maya?
Huh? Why do you ask?
Would you be able to lend me a little bit of money? Just so I can send my son to his dream university. You're the only person in the family who could possibly solve this problem. If you help my son get into the university of his choice, then he and I will be forever indebted to you for the rest of our lives.
Still, we're talking about quite a lot of money here. Surely it would be best to just take out a student loan instead?
What do you mean, take out a student loan? This house still isn't paid off yet. And I still have a few more outstanding debts from a few unexpected expenses that came up whilst I was raising my kids. I'm just about able to make interest-only payments with the money I get from you guys. How on earth am I going to be able to take out another loan on top of all of that?
I did tell you before, didn't I? Since you're in very good physical health, it might be a good idea for you to go and get a job. Nothing too strenuous. Just working in a restaurant or something?
In good health? Have you seen me? I'm not in good health at all. My ankles are killing me after years of running around raising 4 children all by myself. My body was even more damaged by the fact that I gave birth to my youngest at such an advanced age. Since you're a gynecologist, I'm sure you'll understand these things.
Well, I suppose.
I'm really disappointed in your response today, Maya. I really thought you would be more ready to help the family out.
I'm sorry. It just seems that you haven't really exhausted any other options and have come running straight to me about this. I was merely trying to suggest possible alternatives.
Excuse me?
Please don't take this the wrong way. I know that someone who is as old and decrepit as you couldn't possibly go out to work. I suppose you have to think about yourself as well. I will consider the whole thing about helping out your youngest, and I'll discuss the situation with my husband later. I'll get back to you after I've had the chance to talk to him.
Honey, would you be able to turn off the light before you get into bed?
Don't fall asleep just yet. There's something I'd like to talk to you about.
What is it?
Well, you know I went to your mom's house today.
Yeah?
Well, your mom told me that she'd been worrying a lot about how to pay for your brother's college tuition fees. You knew about that, right?
Ah, his tuition fees. Yeah, I have been worrying about that a little too. My mom made sure that my sister and I were well provided for, but unfortunately that meant that my brother was left with the short end of the stick financially. My mom has been upset over this issue for quite a few years now.
Well, now she's saying that she doesn't have any money at all and she wants me to lend her the money for your brother's tuition fees.
Oh, she does? Well, why don't you just lend it to her then?
Do you really think it's that easy? You know full well that paying just 1 year of his tuition fees will make a significant dent in my savings. But obviously, he's not just going to university for 1 year, is he? If he's doing a 4-year course, that means there will be 8 semesters, which means there will be 8 chunks of money coming out of my bank account. And I bet it won't just be the tuition fees. There will be the cost of his textbooks, which are always expensive, along with spending money to keep him afloat and the cost of rent if he goes somewhere far away from home.
This is why my mom is asking you. You're the only person who would possibly be able to make this happen for him. Just look at my family. Other than you, there's nobody else who would be able to bring that kind of money to the table. It's embarrassing for me to say as the oldest son, but my salary really can't hold a candle to yours. The only reason that my family still treat me well is because I'm married to you, and they want to stay on your good side.
What do you mean?
And now my mom is putting huge pressure on my sister to marry a guy from a good background with lots of money.
Even if there is nobody else who can shoulder the responsibility, I really don't think that it's right for me to be the one paying for your brother's education. In my opinion, the best thing for him to do is go to a public college out of town and get a student loan in order to pay the tuition fees.
Well, it will be your fault if my brother can't achieve his full potential because of his circumstances then. If he wants to get a good job that really shows off his skills, he needs to go to a good college. I don't want him to be stuck in a low-paying job that he wouldn't have had to go to college for in the first place.
So, you're telling me to solely take on the responsibility of your brother's future? Is that what you're saying? Are we not going to have kids in the future? Even though I'm a doctor and I have a good salary, my family are not rich and they can't help us out at all. If we want to have kids soon, we need to be investing our money in that instead. But if all of my money is going to your brother for the next 4 years, how are we going to be able to afford to raise children?
We can just wait 4 years to have them. These days, there are lots of women who give birth in their 40s. You're a gynecologist, so you must know more than anyone else.
Do you really think that it's that normal? If you wait until your 40s to have a child, there are so many more risks and complications involved, and the likelihood of both mother and child dying is much, much higher.
Well, even if we wait 4 years to have kids, you still won't be in your 40s, will you? You're only 33 now, which means you'll be 37 in 4 years' time, which is a perfectly fine age to be having kids.
So basically what you're saying is that I have to pay for your brother's tuition fees and you're not giving me another choice?
We're all family here. Is it really that much of a big deal to help out a family member in need? These days, so many kids are opting to study abroad instead of going to domestic colleges, you know.
So? What does that have to do with anything?
What I'm saying is that it's not like I'm asking you to send him abroad, so things could be much worse. Please, Maya, just pay for his college tuition. If he wants to do any further studies after that, that will be my mom's problem. Or my brother can get himself a part-time job alongside his studies and save up.
But don't you understand? He's not my child. He's not my brother. Why do you keep acting like this is my responsibility?
You were always so nice to him, so I assumed you liked him. He also really looks up to you, you know.
Oh, I don't even know anymore. Let me think about it.
Honey, please think about it long and hard and consider how much you would be helping out the family. He's just a baby starting out in the world, really. Surely you would want to help him get the opportunities he needs in order to achieve his dreams. He's had a hard life so far. Let's make sure we can help him do what he wants with the rest of it.
I already told you that I'll think about it.
Okay. I'll stop talking now and give you some time to think. I'm going to sleep now, so make sure you don't forget to turn off the light.
Hi there, Maya!
Hi, Haley. What are you doing here?
Are you being a little cold? Shouldn't you be grateful that your patients keep coming back to you?
Well, the patient in question keeps getting free healthcare plus a checkup every time she comes, which is actually a violation of hospital policies.
Well, I'm your family, so why should it even matter?
Well, tell me why you've come to see me today, then. Last month and the month before, there were absolutely no problems with you according to your results, so I'm sure you're doing just fine this month as well.
Well, to be honest, today I just came to say hi to you.
Sorry, what?
I was hanging out with some friends and we passed by your hospital and I thought I might as well pop in and say hello as I was in the area. I got to show off to my friends that my sister-in-law is a gynecologist in a fancy hospital as well.
Ah, I see. But I'm working right now, so I don't really have the time to sit around chatting with you. I have patients to see to.
Well, we'll just say I was having a consultation with you, and then you were technically working. Honestly, you obviously don't know anything other than how to study well and how to do your job, because you really lack flexibility.
Yes, I'll acknowledge that one. I am not a very flexible person. So I don't really understand why you're here bothering me in the middle of my workday. Since we've said hi and exchanged pleasantries, would you mind leaving so I can see to my patients?
Maya, wait!
What is it?
You know that my younger brother wants to go to college, right?
Yes, I did know that.
And did you also know that he's thinking of giving up on his dreams of going to college now?
Why would he give up on going to college?
Well, he's thinking of just giving up on the whole thing because we don't have enough money to pay for his tuition fees. So why can't you just lend him some money to help him achieve his dreams? Apparently, my mom has already spoken to you about this. Is that true? She told you that he won't be able to go to college unless you lend him the money for the tuition fees, right?
Yes, we have talked about that.
Then why aren't you doing anything about it?
Excuse me?
All his prospects are ruined just because our family doesn't have any money. Do you not consider yourself a member of our family, Maya? If you do, then you shouldn't be able to ignore the situation, and you should be doing something to help out.
So you've come here to ask me to pay your brother's tuition fees. Is that it?
I'm not asking you to straight up pay them. I'm asking you to lend my mom the money, and once my brother gets a good job, you'll be paid back in no time.
I'm going to have to think a little bit more about that, okay?
I really don't know what there is to think about. You do know how smart my brother is, right? Just think about what he'll be able to achieve if you just give him the financial support he needs to get through college. Forget doctor. He's going to be able to become a high-flying politician and become a presidential candidate one day.
Ah, is he?
So what I'm saying is, paying for my brother's tuition fees is going to be a huge investment on your part. I'm sure he won't forget your generosity once he's rich and famous. You definitely won't regret this.
Did your mom put you up to this by any chance? Did she tell you to come to my workplace and try and persuade me to hand over the money?
No, of course not. I came here on my own accord after hearing what my mom said about the situation. I just wanted to make you understand how you could possibly benefit from my brother's success in the future.
It's obvious that our mom put her up to this. She's not fooling anyone. Okay, I've taken everything you just said into account. So I'd like you to get going now so that you don't waste any more of my workday. If we keep chatting for any longer, it's going to start interfering with my schedule.
I really don't like how you're not taking this seriously enough, Maya. My brother's fate lies in the balance, and you're being so dismissive like it's nothing.
We can talk about it more later when I'm not working.
Wow, my mom really was right about you. She said that people with money are always the meanest, and that definitely is the case when it comes to you.
Excuse me?
Anyway, I'm going to get going. We can talk about this more later.
By the way, are you planning on getting a job anytime soon, Haley?
What do you mean? I have a job already. I started working part-time at the convenience store a while ago.
If that's the case, why can't you save some money from your earnings and use it to help your brother through college? You can even save to send him abroad if you want to.
I can't believe I'm hearing this right now. Is this a joke?
If you all work, then you should be scraping every penny together to try and get your brother through college if you all want it as desperately as you make out. I really don't know why you keep asking me to take the whole burden on by myself.
Well, if we had good jobs like you, then we would obviously be providing the money for him. Honestly, you really do know how to make people run around after you.
What did you just say?
Well, since I've come all the way to the hospital to see you about this, I think you should at least consider giving me a little money as well as my mom. Or introduce me to the nurses and say, "This is my sister-in-law. Please take care of her," or something like that. You're treating me as if I'm no better than a stranger. And on top of that, you're still not budging about giving my brother the money for college?
You come here for free when you really shouldn't be doing that, and then you have the audacity to ask me for money?
Ugh, forget it. You're so stingy. There's no point in me talking to you anymore. You should come over to talk to my mom as soon as you finish work today.
This family really is going to be the death of me. Judy? Yes? How did you get into my house? Did you really think I didn't have a key to my own son's house? Are you telling me that my husband gave you a key to our house without even asking me about it first? Of course he did! He gave me a copy of the key as soon as you two moved in. But until now, I had no reason to come over here unannounced. You had never done anything to upset me before this. Where has the daughter-in-law who always used to agree with everything I say gone? However upset you are with me,
It's by no means a good enough reason to come and let yourself into my house without me knowing.
I'm just a mother coming over to her son's house. How is there any problem with me doing that? And who wouldn't come over if their daughter-in-law had caused as much of a stir as you have? I need to make sure that you know exactly how things work in this mother-daughter-in-law relationship. You should be thankful that I've respected your need to have time and space to think for this long. Many other mothers-in-law wouldn't have done.
Can you please just say what you need to say? Your daughter came to talk to me at work today as well.
I'm here because I spoke to my daughter about what happened earlier. I heard you dismissed her, told her to leave, and that you would talk about it with her later. About my youngest's college tuition fees, that is.
Of course.
Well, you said you would come over to our house to talk about it, didn't you? I took that as a positive sign, so I thought I would just save you the trouble and come over to your place first. I'm doing this out of consideration for you, you know, so you should be grateful.
Have you come to tell me that paying for your son's tuition fees would be an investment, like your daughter said to me earlier?
Well, I suppose I should be happy that you're in the loop. Why won't you just help us out? If you keep dragging this whole thing out and then decide not to help him in the end, you do realize that our relationship with each other will be unsalvageable, right? It's all down to you now. I'm not threatening you right now. I'm imploring you to make the sensible decision. Are you afraid that I wouldn't be able to pay you the money back? Is that it? Don't you worry about that. As soon as my son gets his place in society and gets a good job, I will make sure he pays you back in full.
Okay, sure.
Okay, sure. What?
Okay, sure. I'll invest in your son's future.
Oh, wow! Really? Will you really help send my son to the college of his dreams?
Yes, I will.
You really have made a good decision here. You won't regret it, I can assure you. Honestly, if you just agreed to this earlier, you would have saved us all a lot of trouble. You really are the best daughter-in-law I could ever have asked for. Thank you so much. I'll never forget your kindness towards our family, and I will be indebted to you for the rest of my life.
You just want me to cover his tuition fees, right? There's nothing else you want to ask of me, is there?
Can I ask you for one other small, tiny favor?
What is it?
After he gets his bachelor's degree here, would you be able to finance sending him to the UK to do his master's? You can get a master's in 1 year there, and there are some really prestigious universities that I'm sure would be dying to have him.
Sending him abroad as well? My husband mentioned studying abroad in passing, and I did think that he subtly wanted to put the idea in my head.
Oh, he did? It's because we all think my youngest has so much potential, and the more qualifications and life experience he has, the better. The more qualified he is, the better the job he will get. And the better the job he gets, the more he'll be able to repay you for your kindness. So can't you consider helping him do his master's abroad as well?
Yes, of course. That's absolutely fine with me.
Oh my goodness! Do you really mean that? You can't go changing your mind later, okay?
Of course. I wouldn't dream of going back on my word. And you shouldn't go back on yours either. You said that all I needed to take care of was your son's tuition fees, right?
Yes, of course. I couldn't possibly ask you for anything else on top of that. As long as my son gets his chance to do well in life, I couldn't care less about anything else.
Okay, then I will make sure to take care of the tuition fees.
Thank you so much! Thank you so much! I'll have the butcher deliver his finest steak to your house tomorrow.
Hello?
Hi, Maya. It's me, Judy.
Hi, Judy.
Today is the day that my money from you normally comes in, but I haven't seen anything go into my bank account yet. It always comes in before 5 p.m., but there's still nothing. Has there been some kind of problem? I tried to use my card at the department store earlier, but it said that there weren't sufficient funds and my card was declined. I was trying to buy the last coat in my size as well.
For somebody who complained about having no money to send her son to college, you sure do spend a lot of time buying clothes in the department store.
Well, because it's just in front of my house, I like to go there on my walks to get some exercise. Anyway, would you be able to tell me what's happened with my money?
Your money? Now, where would I have the money to keep paying you the same amount every month?
Excuse me?
If I keep sending you that much money, how on earth am I going to be able to afford to send your son to college? Would you rather my husband and I starve? I need to conserve my money in order to pay your son's tuition fees, so unfortunately I won't be able to send you an allowance every month anymore.
What did you just say? Well, this can't be happening!
If you need any money for your own personal use, you should go and ask my husband for some. He'll be able to give you a small amount every month, but as you know, it won't be nearly as much as you were getting before, because my husband doesn't earn as much as I do.
How could you do this to me without so much as discussing it with me beforehand? What am I supposed to do now, huh? I have so many plans with my friends that I need money for. I need to have my personal life too, you know.
I'm sorry, Judy, but if you want your son to go to college this badly, you need to give up some of those luxuries. You can't have your cake and eat it too. Either you want to have an extravagant lifestyle or you want your son to go to college. I can't afford to finance both, I'm afraid.
So when you even agreed to helping pay for his study abroad and you said that you hoped I wouldn't be asking for anything else, this is what you meant?
Yes, that's right.
How dare you deceive me like that, you sly little fox! This is not a game, you know.
Judy, I'm just doing exactly what you asked me to do. I'm willing to pay your son's tuition fee so that he can have the best start in life. I'm doing this out of the goodness of my own heart, and I am in no way obligated to do any of this. So how can you stand there and call me a sly little fox when all I'm doing is trying to fulfill what you made out to be your greatest wish? If you keep acting like this towards me, then I might revoke my offer to help you out. The choice is up to you. Either I keep sending you your monthly allowance like before, or I pay your son's college tuition fees. What's it going to be?
How can you be so conniving? How dare you try and pull a fast one on me like that? You think you can play with an old lady's feelings just because you have lots of money? How dare you try and use money to get the better of me?
I think I'm the one who should be upset in this situation, not you. Not that it wasn't already glaringly obvious, but you've just gone and betrayed the fact that you've been coveting my money this whole time. You kept saying that it was for the sake of the family, but really this is all because of you and your greed. So you really don't have any right to be upset in this situation. I'm the one who should be getting angry at you right now.
Oh, well, I suppose you deserve a round of applause. Is this your way of getting revenge on me? Just you wait and see. I'll make you regret ever trying to do this to me. Honey!
Why are you yelling at this time of night?
What on earth have you done to my mom?
What do you mean? I haven't done anything to her.
She told me that you tried to make a fool of her and laughed at her whilst lording your money over her.
Oh, is that what she said?
Her blood pressure is through the roof right now and she was feeling too weak to even eat dinner. All she's been able to do all evening is lie down in shock. You can't tell me you didn't do anything to her to have left her in that state.
Well, as you know, your mom has been asking me to pay your brother's tuition fee so he can have the brightest future possible. But obviously that's going to be expensive, right? She even wants to send him to study abroad for a year. I agreed to help out with that, but because it's so much money, I won't be able to send your mom an allowance each month anymore. She made it sound like we needed to make sure to send your brother to the best college possible, even if we have to bend over backwards. So that's what I'm doing. You also said that nothing was more important to your family than paying for your brother's education, didn't you? So in that situation, how can we possibly afford to carry on paying your mom each month as well?
My mom was right. You just wanted to screw her over, which is why you decided to stop giving her that allowance. If you were planning to do that, you should have discussed it with both me and my mom in the first place. Then we could have come up with a way to make sure she was still provided for even if we weren't going to be giving her as much as we were in the first place. It was cruel of you to just cut her off without even warning her about it first.
Yes, you're right. How does it feel to get screwed over by a supposed family member? It's not nice, is it?
What did you just say? What on earth has gotten into you?
Everyone always says that the people with money are the cruelest. But from my perspective, people without money can also be pretty awful when they want to. Using, "but we're family" as an excuse to leech off somebody's money really is a low, you know.
Excuse me? Are you talking about my family right now?
Well, what can I say? If the shoe fits.
I tried to put up with it because they're your family, but I just couldn't take it anymore. Your mom and your sister are particularly shameless. How could they just beg me for money directly to my face like that without so much as batting an eyelid? It seems that your sister has picked up all of your mom's bad habits. How dare you talk about my family like that? Honestly, I really don't want to have to put up with you and your family treating me like this any longer. We're not even family if we don't want to be, after all. You clearly don't consider me as family and are happy to put the needs of your mom and siblings way before mine. I don't even know why I married you in the first place. Did you just marry me because you wanted to use my money to keep your family happy? Was that it? Why can't you ever understand how I feel? How can you say that I don't understand you? Well, what did you do when your mom and sister started going after my money, huh? You didn't try to stop them. Instead, you even encouraged them to use me as a walking ATM. You were just one of the many people suffocating me. Oh, for goodness sake. Fine, I'm sorry, okay? If I'm such a trash human, I have no idea how you managed to share a bed with me for this long. I have no idea either, to be honest. I was trying my best to make this marriage work, but seeing how you're talking to me right now, I really don't know why I'm bothering to try and stay with you. If I stay in this marriage, it's clear that I'm just going to be treated like a piece of trash for the rest of my life. So what are you saying? Are you saying you want us to get a divorce? I think that would be for the best. Seriously? Divorce isn't a word you can throw around so easily, you know. What do you think it will do to your reputation as a gynecologist? No pregnant woman in their right mind is going to want to trust themselves and their babies to the woman who couldn't even keep her husband long enough to have a baby of her own. Oh, thank you so much for worrying about me. You should have started worrying about me way sooner, you know. So we're in agreement that we're going to be getting a divorce, yes? What? Are you kidding me right now? Why would I even bring up divorce if I wasn't deadly serious about it? It's getting late, so I should probably pack my things and head to my parents' house to sleep. I don't want to spend a single second longer in your company. And I definitely do not want to share a bed with you ever again. Hey! Honey! You can't just leave! Come back here right now! Honey, so I received the divorce papers you sent in the mail. So if you received them, why haven't I heard anything back from you? It's been over 10 days since I sent them already. I just thought that maybe things didn't have to go this far. I think there's a chance that we can still talk things out. Let's talk about things properly now that things are less heated, and hopefully we can come to an agreement and not have to go as far as to get divorced over this. I'm pretty sure there's nothing you could possibly say to convince me to change my mind. Besides, you've already proved that you're a family that's terrible at communication over the last 3 years since we got married. Excuse me! Watch your mouth, young lady! Okay, fine. I'll apologize for making you feel suffocated and backing you into a corner because of money. I understand that you were upset, but I really think that threatening my son with divorce was a step too far. Every single one of you has threatened me before. Or have you all conveniently forgotten?
I wouldn't go as far as to use the word threaten. We were just trying to persuade you to see things from our point of view. That's all. If you didn't want to give us any money, you should have just said so in the first place. Why would you say that you would give us the money for my brother's tuition fees and then go back on your word?
Well, all of you hate me right now, don't you? Well, I hate all of you too. I don't think any of us are going to be of any positive use to each other. So I think it's best that Anthony and I get divorced as soon as possible. Do I really have to worry about your situation now that it's got to the point that we're about to get divorced? As soon as these papers are signed, you're all as good as strangers to me. You don't need to worry about us at all, honey. You don't need to worry about paying my brother's tuition fees at all. My mom has agreed to get out a student loan in order to finance his college education instead. Isn't that right, Mom? Yes, that's right. So please reconsider this whole divorce thing. Neither of you are going to benefit from going through a divorce, are you? Honey, let's just go back to the way we were before. All you need to do is give my mom her allowance and we won't ask you for any more money ever again.
Ugh, this is so annoying. Why do we have to grovel to her like this?
You can be quiet. If you think you're better than her, why don't you go and try being a doctor?
Now I know that the reason you're all clinging on to me so desperately is my money and the prestige that is attached to having a doctor in the family. I don't want any part in a family who only wants me around because of my materialistic value in their eyes. I knew you were going to act like this, so I almost didn't even come here today. But I thought I at least had to come and talk to you all face to face before starting the divorce proceedings. At least now I can be sure that I'm not going to regret my decision in the slightest. I don't need to hear anymore. I'll be leaving now.
Honey, wait. You don't even need to give my mom any money. You don't need to give anything to my family at all. So please just reconsider the whole divorce thing. But I need that money! Mom, is that really important right now?
Old habits die hard, I see. There was no way that this money-grabbing family was going to change their ways overnight. I only hope you get reincarnated as nicer people in your next lives. Anthony, if you won't sign the divorce settlement papers, I'll have no choice but to sue you. I don't think you and your family would be able to afford that, so I think it's in your best interest to settle things quickly.
Honey, you can't do this. Maya, come back!
Ugh. She just thinks she can do whatever she wants because she's a doctor. Thankfully, my husband finally listened to me and accepted the fact that there was no saving our relationship. He agreed to sign the settlement papers, and there was no need for me to drag him through a lawsuit. My mother-in-law refused to see what she had done wrong, and continued to resent my ex-husband for not being able to keep me and my money in the family. I couldn't help but feel a little empty after the divorce, as if the last couple of years of marriage had been for nothing. It felt like my relationship with my ex-husband before we got married was some kind of hazy dream, and once we were married, he started to show his true colors and became a completely different person. I knew from the first moment he introduced me to his family and they made an excessive fuss over me for being a doctor that this family was going to make me uncomfortable. Although they showered me with flattery, it soon became obvious that they wanted me as nothing more than a financial sponsor. I feel like even if I had helped pay for my brother-in-law's college tuition fees, that wouldn't have been the end of it, and there would have been something else they needed financing after that. I felt like once they realized they could use me as an ATM, they would continue to use me as an ATM. I knew that things would have just become harder and harder for me to bear. So I feel so much better that I managed to get out before things could have gotten any worse for me. Although I was disappointed that things ended in divorce, the feeling of freedom I got afterwards was definitely worth it. What are you doing here?
Can a patient not go to the hospital? I'm here for a checkup, of course.
Why would you come all the way to a hospital that is an hour away from your house? I know there are lots of gynecologists in your area.
Fine, I came to see you. I needed to see how well you were doing after leaving us behind in the dust. You're looking much healthier, I must say.
Well, all of the leeches that were sucking the blood out of me are all gone now, so naturally I'm feeling much better.
Are you happy now? We're all suffering, but I suppose you're happy and smug all by yourself, aren't you? My family is ruined because of you.
And why is that my fault?
It's entirely your fault. Without your money, my kids can't survive. Not to mention that my oldest son now has the stigma of being a divorcee. My daughter has been taking money from my purse and using paying her medical fees as an excuse. My youngest ended up leaving home altogether in the end.
Why are you blaming me when it's obviously your fault for not raising your children well? If you can't deal with the consequences of having children, you shouldn't have had any in the first place.
Excuse me! I really don't think that a gynecologist should be saying these kinds of things.
On the contrary, because I'm a gynecologist, I think I have more of a right to say these kinds of things. It's my job to make sure that we reduce the number of irresponsible and incapable mothers in the world. You've already irresponsibly given birth to 4 children you obviously weren't prepared to provide for properly. So to be honest, you deserve to be criticized like this.
What did you just say to me?
You must have known that I wasn't going to say anything nice to you when you came here. So why did you even come? If you have this much time on your hands to waste, you might as well use it to go looking for a job. It looks like you're going to have to be supporting your children financially until the day you die. So you had better start working.
How dare you talk like this to your mother-in-law?
May I remind you that you are not my mother-in-law anymore? And I don't know why you're getting mad at me when all I've done is speak the truth. After all, you're pregnant with your 5th one right now, so goodness knows how old you'll be by the time this one is 18.
What did you just say? My 5th one? Don't mess around with me like this.
You really are quite impressive. Most women have hit the menopause at your age.
But here you are, making even more babies. This can't be. There's no way. This is impossible. I told that old guy to be careful.
You've clearly still got it. You told me you were too weak and decrepit to even go out and get yourself a job, and yet you have the energy to have your fun with some guy and even end up making a baby. You're clearly in perfect health.
No, this can't be. This can't be. What am I supposed to do now?
Why are you asking me that? You should go and talk to the father of your child about your options. And make sure to be careful that you don't end up with a 6th one.